Why do you seem so scared? La 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 la.
Hey everyone, it's Christine and welcome back to ParanormalTV. Before I get started, I want to say thank you so much to my new subscribers. I got quite a few new subscribers the other day and I think that that's awesome. I'm so happy to have you here. I hope you enjoy my channel. It means the world to me that you decided to subscribe. Today I have a picture to show you guys that I found interesting and I just kind of want to chat with you guys about it. We all heard of Google Maps before. You can put in an address and you can see that street, you can see the address, you can kind of get a full view of the street from Google Maps. You can see every side of the street, you can move it around and see all angles basically. I guess I can tell you whose house this is because I'm not going to show you the full picture because I don't want you guys to figure out where it is because this is somebody's home. Not that I don't trust my subscribers, but you never know who's going to stumble upon your video and do weird things. It's been my family for over 100 years except for a brief period of time where my great-great Aunt Sue decided to leave it to the bread milkman last minute in her will to get back at somebody she was mad at in the family and they had to buy it back, but you know, the bread milkman let them buy them back pretty quickly from him, so that was just a brief period of time, but it wasn't in their family. This is the house my grandfather grew up in. He was born in this home and you know, it's just been in our family for a very long time. I did have quite a few experiences in this house growing up, and if you would like me to do a video on that, just let me know down below and I will be sure to do a video on my experiences at my grandparents' house. My husband, he told me that my sister was actually in the picture of Google Maps. So I looked it up and she is, but her face is not visible in the picture. She's actually in her car. I know it's my sister because of the car and I know what my sister looks like, so you can see like from here down, but I know my sister. So if anyone else looked this up, they would never know who that person was. So basically the point of me telling you this is that my sister's face is not in the view. You cannot see my sister's face in the picture at all. Also, she's quite a bit away from the house because she's actually, her car is in the street. I decided to zoom in on Google Maps because I don't know why. I just decided to do it. I noticed in the one window it looked like a face. So I'm going to put that picture up here. So to me, this looks like a woman. I can see what looks like eyes, nose, mouth, and her hair. Her hair looks very vintage. I will put a reference picture also of the kind of hairstyle it reminds me of. I wanted to show this to you guys because I wanted to just kind of talk about it because I thought it was interesting. So faces and pictures are not my favorite thing. Faces and pictures and orbs are not my favorite pieces of evidence. However, when I find them in my investigations, I will note them. So say I caught an orb and it was purely dust. I will say, caught this orb, but it's clearly dust. Say I caught an orb and it doesn't appear to be dust and I don't know what it is. I don't have an explanation for it. I'm like, well, I caught this orb. I know it's not dust because of this, this, and this. I know it's not a bug because this, this, and this. And I don't know what it is. So I think it's worth noting. This is the kind of situation that I feel like I'm at. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's worth noting though. I looked all around Google Maps. I looked on the other side of the street. I wanted to know what could reflect from the other side of the street into the house that would look like this face. And I couldn't find anything. I zoomed in, I looked a lot. I started to look in the windows a lot. And my grandmother's walker is definitely there. You can see it. However, I don't think it's my grandmother for several reasons. First reason being is that my grandmother always had a walker on the porch. One that she walked throughout the house with her, so that was her main walker. There was a backup on the porch and there was one at the top of the steps. So when she would go to the steps, she'd leave her walker there, she'd walk up the steps and she'd use that walker to go to the bathroom or go to bed. So the one on the porch was a backup walker. It was there all the time. That's just where it's at. Reason two is my grandfather, he used to sit out on the porch all the time. And once in a while my grandmother would join. Typically she was in the living room watching TV. So if my grandmother did join him, they would play Parcheesi, and they would both sit at the same side of the windows. And my grandmother always sat across from my grandfather, so they play Parcheesi. So it would be like he'd be here and my grandmother would be where I am. And this was because my grandfather liked to look out the window and make sure his neighbors weren't doing anything he disapproved of. And the reason why I feel like it's not them is because I know when this picture was taken, this is a recent picture, and my grandfather could not walk at this point, so he couldn't get on the porch because he was in a wheelchair and there was a step, so he wasn't able to go out into the porch at this point in time. So he hadn't sat on the porch in years. So my grandmother wouldn't be sitting on the porch either. So that's why I personally don't think there's anybody actually on the porch. And like I said, I looked around on the Google Maps and I couldn't find anything that looked like the face or looked like it could reflect off the window, creating that image. I don't want to show you the image entirely or the other side of the street because it is my family's home. Even if it wasn't my family's home and this was some random person's home I never met, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, sharing it like that on the internet. But I just don't want to give away the street. I'm not saying my subscribers are going to do anything, but you know, there's some people in the world who might stumble upon this video and be a little bit weird. I'm just saying. So I'm not going to show you the other side of the street. You're just going to have to trust me, hopefully you will, that there was nothing there that I saw that could have reflected. I am the first person to admit when something's not paranormal. For instance, I think it was my EMF detector review? I think it was, where somebody said, you know, oh, I saw an orb in the video, and I dusted that day and it was dust, and I could have been like, oh my gosh, yes, that was an orb, my house is haunted, to get more attention, you know. But no, I dusted that day, so it was dust. EVPs, if I don't catch an EVP, I could fake it, you know. I'd be like, hey, I caught something. But when I don't catch an EVP, I'm like, I didn't catch anything. And you'll see that in an upcoming video, actually. And you've seen that in past videos I did. For instance, in some of my other videos during investigations, or just like mini ghost hunts as I would call them, because they're not full out investigations, I didn't catch anything, and I will be like, hey, I didn't catch an EVP. But there are times I do catch an EVP, and I'm like, I caught an EVP, guys. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Let's talk about it together and figure out what it is. So sometimes I catch EVPs, sometimes I don't. And I'm honest with you guys about it. Sometimes I will catch orbs that I don't believe to be dust or bugs, and I will list the reasons why. I'll be like, hey, this is why I do not think it's dust, this is why I do not think it's bugs. I don't know what it is. Could it be paranormal? Yes, it could. Could it not be paranormal? Yes, it could. To me, it's an unknown orb. And then sometimes I catch orbs that are definitely dust, or definitely a bug, and I'm like, hey, this was dust, or this was a bug, just to let you know. So basically, hopefully guys, you can just trust my statement just on that without me showing you the picture, just on my track record of being honest with you guys. Hopefully that's enough for you guys. I didn't see anything on the other side of that picture. I've had experiences that I believe to be paranormal at my grandparents' home before, so I believe that this is possible, that it could be something. However, I don't want to say it definitely is, because at the same time it could be nothing, but it's definitely possible that it's paranormal, and that's basically what I want to talk to you guys about, it because it's a possibility. It is. I'm not going to sit here and analyze the picture and be like, oh my gosh, that looks like my great-grandmother, let me get that picture out I have of her, and we will analyze these pictures and we'll decide if this is her or not, because I hate when people do that so much. When people see what looks like a face in a window or a mirror, there's a little bit of detail to it, so they go and run with that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like Abraham Lincoln. That is Abraham Lincoln. That is Abraham Lincoln's ghost. I hate when people do that. I hate it so much. I think you'd say, hey, this does kind of look like this. Is that who it is? I don't know, but I hate when people analyze it and then they're like, yep, that's who it is, because you don't know that. There's no way to know that. I want to know your opinion, so just let me know down below what you think of this picture. Do you see the face? I did show this to my mother-in-law. She saw the vase. I did show it to my husband. He saw the vase. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did you ever catch a face in any of your pictures? I have caught faces, what appear to be faces in pictures before, and I think I'll do a video on that. I think I'll film it now, actually. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.